Hi vinyl community, it's me Martin here. Just had a bit of a sort of little bit of time to do a video. I hope you are all doing well. I have just been continuing working as normal. A few, I think, of us are going to plan a chat. I think I missed the last one on sometime over the weekend on Zoom. I'm just thinking about like how we were going to meet up in Newcastle later this year and how that's going to work out now. I've no idea really. I mean, it's yeah, 6 months down the line, who knows? Yeah. Anyway, I've got my cup of tea and I've got some records to show. Nothing new. Well, new that I haven't shown them ever. So this is the second part of my classical collection. Yeah. Which I have amassed over probably since the turn of the century, when I helped in the charity shop for a while and nobody wanted classical records then. Maybe even now they're not so keen on them really. Maybe say one or two shops will charge a lot of money for, well actually let's just be honest and just say Oxfam will, because probably the sort of people Oxfam that, in the UK get will want classical jazz, maybe different sort of stuff to other, thrift or Goodwill kind of stores, as you say in America. Yeah. Well, without further ado, I will just go through them. I should really be saying shout outs to everybody really. Rob Paneeks, hi Rob, I hope you are okay and you always comment on my videos. Who else? John Bellamy in Wales often does. I haven't listened to those 10-inch records you gave me in Bristol, so hopefully by the weekend I will have done. Because that 10-inch, they've sort of got lost somewhere in album size things. Anyway, who else? Well, there could be lots of people really, but well, there's two shout outs anyway. Yeah, I mean, I have sort of started watching some different people's videos, and I've noticed there's people that have come back that haven't been here for many years, and this whole virus thing has sort of completely changed people's lives and what they do with their time. And buying off the internet. I mean, I haven't done that for a long time. Really, it's rarely. Oh, I have got something actually, but it's CD. I didn't get it on record, but we've got the new Nightwish album on double CD, and it is very much similar to the last one, Endless Forms Most Beautiful, in that it continues on a what's the word? Not humanist. What is that guy called? Atheist? No. The other one. Well, anyway, the last album had Richard Dawkins talking about evolution and such like, and some of the tracks on here are similar. There's also quite an environmental theme to it. The songs are very varied and different. I would not say I like it as much as the last album, but I do like and appreciate when bands try something different rather than just sticking with a metal or rock or dance, same sort of formula. So it's called Human Nature, and I mean I could say, oh, I like House for Heart, I like Shoemaker, I like music. Yeah, and there's lots of pictures. Always got that nice smell. So that's the first album there, and then the second one is sort of more environmental, instrumental, mostly album here in the sorry, the second bit here. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, and then they've used this symbol here, or symbols, sorry. My wife knows more about this than I do, and she watches a lot of these reaction videos about music. It's quite interesting that people have never listened to something and then they give it a go, and you see how they react to something. I don't know whether it's very much the opposite antithesis of vinyl community and collecting. But yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. Yeah, well, that's a new album that we bought, and I don't think anything else has really grabbed me. I've been working on some of my own music. If you are interested and would like a free track, somehow send me your email or just get in touch, and then I can send it to you, because I did do an album a few years ago, and this will be another sort of sample based thing. I won't be putting it on YouTube or anything because well, I don't know if I would get arrested, but it just wouldn't pass the the scan sort of thing. I'm sure it wouldn't. I'm sure something would get picked up, and then yeah, I don't really want all that hassle anyway. And I suppose the other thing, now I'm rambling, is we do this radio show. We haven't been able to go in for weeks for that, so there's old shows on there, and I'll put a link. We're on at 12 o'clock on a Sunday usually, 12 o'clock noon GMT time. So anyway, yeah. But yeah, one video I saw was really good was Steve Whitty talking about like people that have passed away. There've been so many, hasn't there, like musicians? But then I suppose over the last, since the 50s, every decade has spurned so many famous musicians and people from entertainment. And I suppose they're all gonna pop their clogs at some point. And Derek Higgins sort of gave a good talk about when Little Richard died and how important he was. Yeah. Right. Classical. Right. Okay. I've got a few boxes first. So here we've got on Deutsche Grammophon. This is, as you can see, this. No need to sort of talk about it. I'm sure you can work that out in your translations. And here's something I haven't really listened to. If there was spare few weeks, months, I might do this. Is the 10 Symphonies of Mahler. Huge, heavy thing on CBS Masterworks, with a book with everything in it, and it's also got this label anyway. For those of you that are interested in that one, I'm not really sure what colour that is. It's not a very nice colour, but anyway. Right. Okay, here's something I went to see years ago. They did it in a modern setting, like in a disco club bar sort of thing. It's Don Giovanni, Mozart, who ends up in a bit of a pickle, really. Does he end up in hell or purgatory? I can't remember, but yeah. It takes a bit of getting into, the old opera, and to actually like it enough to keep sort of with it. I must admit, I don't really think I have. There's certain bits of classical music that I like, of which I've got a few here. and a few composers and stuff I really like. Well, this is about the old. This one's about the Secret Handshake Club, isn't it? So this is the Magic Flute, and it's very symbolic. And it's on Deutsche Grammophon again. Yes. And I won't pretend to know much about what I'm talking about. I have seen this though. This is probably more accessible with what you would say like catchy songs. And pretty straightforward story as well, really. I suppose most of them are anyway, but yeah, I suppose it's the way they go about it in a very roundabout way, and then they're obviously like at least a couple of 100 years old, so I suppose in stories we're very much used to modern ways of telling them, and I actually even like sort of, you know, books as well over a few 100 years old. We're sort of a bit I don't know whether you would say snobby about it, but yeah, I mean even books from 50 years ago are more difficult to read, or like you know, King James Bible's quite challenging. Right. It seems to be some film soundtracks in here, but they are classical. So here we go. We've got Barry Lyndon, and this is Warner Brothers, and this is a film about. In fact, he's a bit like Don Giovanni. He's gallivanting all over Europe. You know, joining in wars and joining in women and whatnot. And I can't remember what happens at the end of it now. I'm sure he comes a cropper as well. And then we've got both 2001 Space Odysseys. You know, this music, it's all synonymous with the sequel, with the film really now, much like a lot of classical music is on or has been on adverts and such like. Now, in my previous video, I talked about albums that were 70s, 80s classical, like sort of sponsored by tobacco companies. So here's a good example of one. This is Lambert and Butler Master Series. So they threw a load of money. I wonder if they gave away free cigarettes or something as well if you went to see it. So this is you've got Vaughan Williams' Fantasia on a Theme by Thomas Tallis, which Headley has mentioned as he likes. That sort of medieval, that's Henry VIII sort of time, I suppose. Yeah. Side 2, Michael Tippett Concerto for Double String Orchestra. And there was quite a lot of those albums that were sponsored. Oh, that was JSP, John Player Special. Sorry, JPS. That's Vaughan Williams number 2. And then we've got an Elgar Symphony number 2, John Player Special sponsorship. These are all on Classics for Pleasure MFP label. 1 to 3 Uxbridge Road, Hayes, Middlesex. Grieg, or Greg, I don't know how you say that. Most Scandinavian classical music's very interesting. Here is a beautiful cover to a piece of music. Yeah, but and probably a very classical, very known recording of it as well. I love this cover. It's so, it's sort of a little bit, well, it's almost a bit Tolkien, or I don't know what style you would say that, but it's just like beautiful. I mean, yeah. So it's Holst for Planets. It's Malcolm Sargent, and something completely different here. Charles Hubert Gervais. This is on Schwann label in mono. This is a guy that was alive 1671 to 1744. And it looks like it's, well, I'm guessing, is that a French name? I don't know. Psalm 19. So quite a lot of religious themes. on some of these records. Here's John Williams with Rodrigo. I mean, I've got the Miles Davis one of that as well. This is on CBS Masterworks as well. Probably a different sort of coloured label, I'm guessing. Yeah, look at that, nice. That's a lovely piece of music. Olivier Messiaen. This is it organ? Yeah, some guy on an organ. Yeah. Another sort of similar 20th century French person, is it, or 19th century? This is A. Jolivet, Suite Liturgique and a Mass by A. Caplet. That's on Erato. I've got some Erato ones coming up as well. And we've got Ravel. Piano Concerto for the left hand. That always makes me laugh. Maybe for somebody who just had a left hand. I don't know. Maybe they were doing like sort of a finger puppet with their right hand. I don't know. Oh, what on earth am I talking about? Right. Pictures at an exhibition. I think I prefer the classical version to the ELP one. Some Gregorian chant. Be interesting to hear, like, who of you are into a bit of classical, or just do you get a lot of it turn up in America, or I don't know, like, you know, I mean, some people in VC are more into the more modern classical music. These are all on Erato, and they're all Bach cantatas. I have, what's that, half a dozen or so. This is when I bought some covers to put them in, and then I didn't really keep up with it, to be honest. This is Delius. I think he was English, actually. But he says he drew on certain influences. Scandinavia, Wagner, Russia, Florida, and the music of Negroes. He was born in Bradford of German parents in 1862. So there's that one. And then this one. And another one. This guy. This is Thomas Beecham, isn't it? Yeah. He almost looks like Sir Christopher Lee. Borjak. This is a nice recording of this. I don't recall listening to it for ages, but I do recall liking it a lot. As this one I do, I like a bit of mad organ. I mean, if you've watched my videos, I like this Anna von Hauswolf lady that plays a certain type of church organ. This is Poulenc. I mean, it's not the easiest instrument to play, is it? When you're sort of thinking, what would you like to play? I mean, I wouldn't be able to do a ukulele, I don't think. But no disrespect to ukuleles, but obviously organs are the king of instruments, I would have thought. These are interesting. Jean-Christian Michel. There's that one, and there's this one, a Requiem. Some more modern but listenable. Darius Milhaud. And we are nearly there. We've got we do have another opera there. Banana Box. Traviata. Verdi. I'm just trying to think. Verdi, I think. Wherever he was from in Italy, I remember going on holiday there, I think, because there was a statue of him. And one more fits into my classical collection, which is this Missa Luba, and then there's the South American version of the Mass. There we go. These sort of things you can usually pick up. I mean, and also they've often not been played that much. They're usually in pretty good nick, to be honest with you. So if you see something, why not just take a chance? You know, seen people taking a few more chances since coronavirus. And Graham down in Exeter Way. Graham, can't remember what it's just gone. Graham Watson. Yeah, anyway, you know him probably. Yeah, he did a video recently and just taking a chance on stuff, and it's far more interesting just to have a go at a Boney M album, or I don't know. And what have you got to lose if it's a quid, you know? I mean, I suppose even maybe I'll do myself a challenge and get something off eBay or something. Just try something completely different that I wouldn't usually. So that's a ramble of about 20 minutes from me. I hope you're all well. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in your videos probably. If I haven't commented, please leave a comment on mine, but if I haven't commented on yours, then sorry. I usually do quite a lot of comments as much as I can. Sometimes I've just not got anything to say, but I have probably enjoyed it anyway in some way, shape or form. Okay, thanks very much. Bye.